What I think will happen now is that you're going to have more power as a buyer. Now, if you have more power, this is the thing, so does the next person, right?
Realtor.com just put out a report saying now might be the best time to be a home buyer in 5 years. Why? Because according to them, the housing stock is way up.
I know you're watching this and you're saying that there is nothing for buyers to buy. This guy's telling you you're wrong.
Back in January 2020, before the pandemic, there were 951,000 homes available for sale. And then fast forward to October 2024. For the first time, we had more than that with 953,000.
Took 4 years to get there.
And the reason why all of this matters is, of course, because of supply and demand. If we see more inventory of homes, meaning homes available for sale, that means there's more potential supply. If there's more supply, that means you as a home buyer could potentially see a cheaper home or maybe more negotiating power.
Even though you may not see more homes for sale, you may see either a lower price for homes, or what I'm seeing more of is number two, more negotiating power for the buyer. As inventory grows, prices will adjust, right? Because supply is increased. The thing is that for the past 4 years, demand has been so high and so over the supply that I think what's going to happen is that even though supply increases, there's still going to be somewhat of a competitive market. But even though it may be a competitive market, as a buyer, you may have the ability to negotiate more. What is negotiating more? Well, during COVID, anyone who bought will tell you, you had to waive your appraisal contingency, your inspection contingency, your mortgage contingency, basically stating that no matter what happens during the process, you're buying that home and the seller has no risk in selling the home to you. You can't back out because you're denied for a mortgage. You can't back out because the appraisal comes in lower than what you're paying for the home. And you can't back out because the inspection comes back saying that the house is falling apart. That's what people were doing during COVID. They were waiving all their contingencies and still buying real estate. What I think will happen now is that you're going to have more power as a buyer. Now, if you have more power, this is the thing, so does the next person, right? And if they have deeper pockets, that competition is still going to be there. So it's an interesting aspect and point that he's bringing up here, because he's right. In 4 years, we're now seeing inventory increase. And I know a lot of you agents watching this are saying that it doesn't feel like it, but there definitely is. It's just maybe not the best of homes, right? Some of them may need some work.
Are we about to see price cuts coming in the housing market? And number three, is this the time for you to go out and buy a house?
Inventory is obviously a big factor when it comes to real estate. This is the thing about real estate. No two homes are alike. No two lots are alike. So real estate is a very unique asset when we discuss comparing homes, right? Myself and my wife, I use myself as an example, wanted to live in a specific neighborhood for upwards of 4 years. It took us 4 years to buy a home in that neighborhood because that's where we wanted to live. We loved the location. It was close to family, close to our offices, and just close to amenities. So we waited 4 years to buy in that neighborhood. We actually lost multiple homes during that 4 years to bidding wars. Now, granted, that was during this 4-year period since COVID, 2020 to 2024. We ended up buying in 2023. But inventory is improving. I think one of the big things about inventory is what are the conditions of the home? So are homes in good enough condition to just move in, right? Are they turnkey? Are you paying a premium for turnkey homes? One of the things that we've been dealing with is baby boomers selling. And baby boomers selling was an issue because they didn't want to upgrade anything. You would buy the home, it would have those blue or pink bathrooms, right? You would have shag rug in the living room, or the basement would have wood paneling. That was a big thing, right? As far as inventory. So inventory numbers may increase, but how much work needs to be done to these homes? The second thing he mentions is prices. Everyone thinks that a bubble is going to burst and prices are going to decrease. This is the thing. For people who have bought for the past 4 years, if prices decrease 10 or 20%, they're going to be underwater. It's just, that's what's going to happen. Everyone has been comparing the COVID real estate market to 2008. It is completely different. 2008, people were getting loans hand over fist and there were no checks and balances. We didn't have that during this past 4 years, right? There are appraisals. People are a little more strict as far as the appraisers are concerned. They make sure that comps are real. Everyone is still creating bidding wars, but it's a little more difficult to get a mortgage. And if you're paying cash for a home, then typically you don't care if you overpay because you have another reason for paying over, right? I had a client that wanted to live on the river and he lived a little inland in that same condo complex. He paid over $300,000 over what the appraised value was just to have his condo right on the river here in New York. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to spend the extra $300,000. Does he care if he sells and makes his money back? Probably not, because he'll probably live there for the rest of his life, right? So prices are dictated by how bad you want something. That's what creates supply and demand in economics, right? So you may still lose out even though prices have come down if someone really wants that specific property. The third thing that he brings up is it smart to buy now? It's the same thing as buying a really good stock. Go back to when Tesla IPO'd or Google. And yeah, you had some failing IPOs as well. But look at these companies that have increased, right? And you have these massive gains and you made money. Real estate is similar, specifically because they're not selling stocks that are all the same of a company. They're selling you a lot and home that can't be duplicated, right? If you go around the world, each lot and each home is different. Even if they look similar, they're not similar, right? Because they're in different locations, different longitude, different latitude. That's going to affect things, right? It's going to affect your amenities. It's going to affect distance to work, play. It's going to affect where the sun rises and where it sets. All of those are factors of where you live. So is it worth buying now? I think in the long term, once again, we see this decade over decade over decade, real estate increases and appreciates in value. So if you're going to buy, do I think a 10 or 20% downturn in the market is going to happen? No, I don't, because it's going to hurt millions and millions of people around the globe. But I think if you're waiting to buy real estate, you're not doing it the right way and you don't understand the value in real estate. It's like the old saying, don't wait to buy real estate and wait.